Today on Dr. Phil, they say their dad's new wife
They've called her every name in the book.
is ruining their lives.
The girls think I'm a gold digger.
Do you think he owes you that money?
Are they spoiled brats?
You yelled and screamed at my producer.
I don't yell anymore.
So is my producer lying?
Or is he a bad dad?
You're sick.
I think they're delusional.
He's delusional.
Boy, there's a lot of delusions around here. Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've heard long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
Wilson, take
I'm going to get you the help that you need.
In 5, 4,
This is going to be a changing day in your life.
Go, Dr. Phil.
How you doing? How are y'all? Hello. Well, a horrific car crash took the life of my first guest, Alan's beloved wife of 30 years. Now, their twin daughters were obviously devastated at the loss of their mother. That is until 6 months later, when their tears turned into anger at their father, who they say was already in love with a much younger woman who they also say wanted daddy's money. Now, Alan has barely spoken to his children or grandchildren for the last 10 years. Now, accusations of spending millions on his new wife and forgetting about his own daughters have caused this family to spiral out of control and out of contact. Take a look.
My twin daughters, Carol and Christine, are out of control and can be very evil. I do not know why my girls are so angry at me. I do not know. I met their mom, Louise, when I was around 26. We had twin daughters, Christine and Carol. Louise and I were married for almost 30 years. On May 12, 2002, Louise and I were in a serious car accident with 2 other couples, and Louise was killed instantly. I started to date about 6 months after Louise passed away. When I met Veronica, it was just kind of love at first sight. Christine and Carol liked Veronica at the beginning until I started mentioning marriage. And then the tide changed. The letters started coming. The nastiness started coming. My daughters have called me, you sperm donor, you shouldn't have been a father. They think Veronica is a waitress bimbo that's after my money. I am totally appalled and hurt by Christine and Carol's behavior. I believe that the twins' mom, Louise, would be rolling in a grave if she could see the way the twins treat their father. I wrote numerous letters to Dr. Phil because I want to help so bad. There's so much toxicity and so much dysfunction that I think this is my only hope.
Well, Alan, it's good to meet you. What's going on here? Why did these girls turn on you in this way? What's going on?
Well, the girls have always been difficult. I personally feel they're holding a lot of guilt from the relationship they had with their mom, especially near the end before their death.
Right.
I think it's just led up to a lot of anger. I don't think they've really resolved the grieving and the problems they've had. And
they're taking it out on you?
Absolutely, like the one you hurt the one you love, and it just hasn't stopped. It's just progressively through the years gotten worse and worse.
Well, did you run a red light here?
I do believe there might have been times I've been a little insensitive. You know, I was going through my own grieving process, which I've never done before, but I can't think of anything else personally that I've done to hurt these girls.
Well, Carol and Christine say their dad is the one who's causing the problems here, and it all stems from how quickly he was able to move on after their mother died. Listen to this.
My dad is a shameful excuse for a father. I don't think my mom would be surprised by my dad's actions because she had said to us on numerous occasions, when I die, I'm leaving everything to you and your sister because I know your dad's gonna go find some bimbo. I think she knew my dad better than we thought she did. When my mom passed away, it was all about him. He started having a lot of parties at the house and drinking and going out. He was like a guy that was like, yeah, I'm free, as opposed to someone that was actually grieving. I don't think things would be this way if Veronica weren't in the picture.
I never got a trusting feeling from Veronica. I just always felt like she was hiding something. I just felt like something was not right. And I'm pretty good with that kind of stuff. Veronica, I think, saw my dad at first, a guy with a little money that lived in a nice house, but she doesn't come from the same kind of caliber, so to speak.
Veronica saw a better life and wanted better things that she didn't have and took advantage of the opportunity.
I'm open to accepting Veronica, but I want her to also own up to the fact that it was wrong moving in my mom's house. It was wrong not wanting my father to have a relationship with kids that have just lost their mom. My dad definitely is a sociopath in a lot of ways. He'll never see anything wrong with himself.
My father needs to own up to the fact that he was not there for us, especially when our mother died. Before my dad wrote to Dr. Phil, I was fine with never talking to him again.
I really think if my mom were alive right now to see what has been done, she'd be disgusted, completely and utterly disgusted by the whole situation.
Well, Christine is here, and her twin sister Carol is joining us via Polycom today. Hello, Carol.
Hello, Dr. Phil.
What did he need to do that he didn't do? And Carol, jump in anytime.
I think that as far as looking out for us, that we just lost our mother, it was pretty much non-existent. All he did was pretty much care about himself.
Yeah, Carol, what do you think?
It's more what he hasn't done that is the hurtful part.
You hear what they're saying. You haven't seen Christine for 3 years, right?
Correct.
Have you missed her?
I miss her, yeah. I don't miss the toxic dysfunction that we have in our relationship, and I think they're delusional. Honestly, that's my opinion.
You think they're delusional?
Totally.
How so?
Well, they have stories that aren't true. They say things that aren't true.
You were how old when your mother passed?
27.
I'm sorry for your loss, by
Thank
the way.
you.
It's always tough.
Thank
I've
you.
buried my mother, and I know that's not easy.
Yeah.
But you were grown
Yes.
and out in your own life, but
Yeah.
yet you wanted a vote in his. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'm computing what it is you're saying was done wrong here.
It's not a vote. It's have respect for your children, no matter if they're 27 or not. It doesn't matter. The fact that you're supposed to be a father to them till the day you die.
Well, how was he not a father?
How is he not? You know what he said when the lady moved into my mother's house and we didn't know about it? I'm the father, I could do what I want. Yes, you can, but you also have respect for your kids. Like, at least tell us, at least let us know something.
Well, you knew when she moved in.
No, my sister had to go there to pick up something and she was moving in her stuff. That's how we found out.
I asked for their respect when I started dating. I said, please, your father's a single man now. Please understand, I always call when I go to your home, and I expect the same back, that I expect you to call my home and say, I'm coming over, Dad. Well, Veronica was just moving out of her house into a girlfriend's house, and her children's stuff was in my vehicle. Carol Ann had the key to my house.
It was in your house.
It was not in my house.
No, I'm not.
Delusional. It's totally not true. They know it's not true. You know it's not true. And
I
you
know
it's
it's
not
true.
Oh, yes, because I'm a liar.
Because,
Okay.
No, because you're delusional. And
Oh,
that's what
yes.
you wanted to
No.
see. She was not in the home at that point. I'm not
saw
saying
what
she
I
didn't move in later on, but she was not living
You
with me
came
at
to
that
the door
point.
huffing and puffing with no shirt on.
Yeah, because
Okay?
I was in my...
Please.
And I'm not allowed to do that in my own home?
You are. Of
Like,
course you are.
walk to the door in my own
I was
home?
getting a
Or have a
suitcase.
woman in my home? Veronica was in the house.
It's not what you do, it's the way you do it.
That's not true.
Exactly.
It's not true.
Of course it's not.
She's
Oh,
saying
my
what I
goodness.
believe she believes what she's saying.
Have some respect. Our mother just
my
died.
daughter.
I don't understand why I'm asking for a lot. I don't think that's asking for a lot.
Well,
I don't think so either.
okay, let's take a break. Coming up, Alan's wife, Veronica, says the twins scare her. She'll tell us why when we come back.
I think the girls resented me in the beginning because of my age. I'm 16 and a half years younger than Al. And also, the girls think I'm a gold digger. My biggest fear, if something ever happens to Al, those girls are gonna come at me full force, chew me up and spit me out.
When Carol Ann was giving birth to her baby, I was looking out at the window at my new grandbaby, and a lot of relatives are there, friends are there, and All of a sudden, they had me convinced Christine wanted to make peace with me. So I tapped Christine on her shoulder, said, do you mind if we go outside and I can speak to you a moment? She said, sure. As soon as those doors opened, I was verbally and almost physically attacked, screaming at me, cursing at me, yelling at me, finger in the face. And then she says, you're a dead man. She goes, I have a hit on you, and you're dead. And that was the last experience I had with her 4 years ago.
Did you tell him that you had a contract out to have him killed?
That is, like, seriously, I find that amusing, actually. A hit. Yes, I'm some mafioso person.
Tell the truth.
I probably went off on you.
Tell people who are hanging out with. That's the exact words you say, Christine.
Did you tell him that?
No, I did not say I have a hitman, like I'm some mafioso
You didn't say hitman. You said I'm going to...
I had a gun in my pocket, too.
No, you said you had a hit on me.
Oh, yeah, I have a hit.
Tell the truth, Christine.
I am telling the truth.
Be honest.
I am. You
Please
be honest. You know what? You think you're manipulative, but really, it's not going to work.
See?
The manipulativeness is not going to work. Okay? Really.
You did not say that.
I did not say that.
So he's lying.
He's lying.
Why would I make that up?
Because you're a little delusional.
Boy, there's a lot of delusions around here.
Yeah.
So you did not threaten him?
Dr. Phil, I did not.
Why would he make that up?
Because people like to make up things. They do. To make themselves look better and feel better. You and I both know that. You've been doing this for a long time. You know people like to make up things.
Yes.
Yes.
I do. Well, all right, let's hear what Veronica has to say, then we'll talk about that.
I'm very scared of the girls. They make me uncomfortable. I don't know what they're capable of. I think the girls resented me in the beginning because of my age. I'm 16 and a half years younger than Al. And also, the girls think I'm a gold digger. Carol and Christine said in numerous letters I was out for his money and just looking out for myself and my children. Those statements hurt me a lot because I raised my kids on my own. I never asked for anything. I don't believe Al did anything wrong other than love me. I always encouraged Al to have a relationship with his daughters. I personally couldn't go without being with my children. But my children don't talk to me the way they do. Al's very strong on the outside, but he has a soft spot. He misses his girls. I wish for Carol and Christine just to give me a chance. I'm not trying to take the place of their mother. I never would do that. I just want to be their friend. That's my biggest fear if something ever happens to Al. Those girls are going to come at me full force, chew me up and spit me out.
All right, well, I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
Have they been disrespectful to you?
Never to my face, never, no.
Have they been disrespectful about her to you?
Extremely.
What have they said?
Called her every name in the book. You know, you have to do more than spread your legs to get a man. It's in letters that they wrote to me. They've called her every name in the book, from white to bimbo, trash, low-life waitress. These are the kind of things that go on.
Have you all said these things about her in letters, Carol, Christine?
Yes, long ago, not recently. As a person, I'm sure Veronica's great, and we've had no problem. However, at the beginning, you set the stage for things. My father never introduced us to her, or me, before he moved to Ray. That's the biggest problem. I didn't know who she was.
I met her at
It was
your
all
party.
speculation.
I met her at
She's
your party.
not
Chris was
before.
there.
With me?
Before, yeah.
No, I did not, Veronica. When I knocked on the door that day, I remember seeing these boxes.
You did
My
not
sister
knock
never
on the
met
door.
you.
You burst into my home, Carol.
And you said you got a bad vibe from her, Christine, from the very beginning.
Yeah, I did. You know what it was? My dad had a girlfriend at the time. He had a party. The girl was sitting on his lap. She came up to me and said, "Does your dad have a girlfriend?" I said, "Yes, she's sitting on his lap." And I liked the girlfriend. So that night I find out she slept over at my dad's house. And
That's not true.
That's not true either.
You bragged about your sexual exploits.
I was about to vomit in my mouth. I don't think he's gonna own up to anything, so I don't even know if this is like really worth it, honestly.
It's totally up to you. Do both of y'all, you said you went off on your dad. Do y'all do that a lot?
If you if I feel threatened in some way, I will, yeah.
Well, you yelled and screamed at my producer about the airport and the airline.
Because my daughter, they wanted my daughter not to sit next to me.
We don't run the airline.
Okay, but I can't have my 5-year-old daughter by herself.
Well, I understand, but you work that out. You go on the airplane, you say, could you switch seats?
And then my daughter, we tried. No one would switch seats.
You can find anybody out of 160, 170 people that would let you sit with your 5-year-old daughter.
Nobody would allow that. I swear to you, I would have been on that plane if they did. And it was disgusting. I was pretty appalled by it. And I'm like, okay. So we got another
why are
flight.
you yelling at my producer about it?
Because I had 2 people telling me they don't want to go anymore.
Well,
like my niece didn't want to go. Like I just don't want to go anymore.
Yelling? What is being verbally abusive to somebody on the phone?
I don't know what
solve
exactly.
that?
I talked to this person. Everything was fine. I don't really.
You don't really what?
I don't really understand. Like, I didn't really, like, go off. I was upset because I'm like, I can't not sit next to my daughter. I was kind of in panic mode. But I don't understand.
Okay, well, that helps me to understand. So that's your panic mode. But why yell instead of problem solve?
I was
I'm trying to figure out how you guys operate. That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I was problem solving. I don't yell anymore. I really don't.
You don't yell anymore?
No, I'm really calm now, actually. Yeah.
So
I've grown up a lot.
So is my producer lying about you yelling?
I mean, is this like a bullying session? I'm not really getting this right now. I'm feeling like I'm being bullied.
Really?
Yeah, I do. I actually do. I feel like I'm kind of getting bullied right now.
Because you're being asked questions that make you uncomfortable?
I just feel like I'm getting bullied right now.
But
like
who's
this
bullying
whole
you?
thing. Like this and this. It's like, I don't think he's going to own up to anything, so I don't even know if this is like really worth it, honestly.
It's totally up to you.
I just don't think it's going to solve anything. Like, I'll fess up to whatever, but I don't think he's willing to do that.
Yeah, well, we'll ask him. They also say that you stayed over and y'all had sex the first night and that you bragged across time about your sexual exploits with Veronica.
Untrue.
What are you talking about? I heard half of it and I was about to vomit in my mouth.
Oh, yeah. Untrue.
No, it's not true.
That's what I said. These
It's not
delusional
true,
statements.
Veronica. You weren't there, number one.
Do you, Christine, blame Veronica for your bad relationship with your father?
I blame my father for my bad relationship with my father. However, as a woman, I think like maybe she should have did a better job at coming to me and my sister maybe and getting us acquainted with her. Because that's what I would have done.
After the letters you wrote about me, you expect me to do that?
Well,
Really?
the
We
letters
know
wouldn't
you,
be written
Veronica.
about you if
That's
it
right.
was done
You still
correctly
don't
in the
know.
first
you
place.
if
You
you're
still don't know us.
We know what
We were
heard.
painted a picture,
Yeah,
and we
what-
went by that
what did you
picture.
hear?
What did they say in the letters
They
about
told,
Veronica?
they told me, oh, if you do have a relationship with this woman and let her move into my mom's house, which I sold because it became so uncomfortable with this whole thing. They
Comfortable with
said,
something else.
okay, she can move in, but her 3 kids, she had 3 young teenagers. Her 3 young kids can't. And then it's in the
you
letters.
kicked us out. We were.
What did you want me to do with
You
my
left.
You said we have to
You
pay
left.
rent.
Really, we were jealous, okay? We were
You said
jealous.
we had to pay
we
rent.
just lost
Your
our
mother
mom.
said it first
we
of
were
all.
jealous.
Number
Yeah.
2,
And I just wanted to
she
be
said
your
she was
friend. I
putting the money
didn't
away.
Attack you guys. I
Dad,
never
you
came
said
at
it.
you
Don't
guys.
lie.
I was jealous. I had emotions.
Right? Because you felt like he just got a new family
Yeah.
and just moved on and left
Yeah.
you behind.
Yeah.
And you feel the same way, Carol?
Absolutely.
They said her kids couldn't move in.
Absolutely.
Then they said, okay.
But you understand what
we
they're
can move in.
saying
Yeah,
is
I-
that you just came up with a new family and all of a sudden they don't matter. Now you're focused on Veronica, her kids, whole new family, just moving on to hell with them.
I tried,
Dr.
yeah,
Phil,
I
can I say
understand what she's saying.
Yeah,
but-
Carol.
When we were 17 years old, we were almost 18. We had just graduated high school. He said to us, either you each have to pay $400 a month rent or you can get out.
Delusional.
I looked at my sister. I said, is he crazy? I'm not going to pay that. We moved out. We got to share a 1-bedroom apartment at 18 years old.
Part
so
of that
yes,
is the
it
truth.
hurts. Father doesn't want you there, but then he's going to move other children in. Yes, it hurts. It hurts, and it makes you angry, and it makes you yell, and it makes you scream, and it makes you curse. Of course, we're human.
I never took the dollar from my daughters. All I did was give.
All right, let's take a break. Coming up, Alan says there was another person the twins were mean and disrespectful to. He'll tell us who when we come back.
There's so many things I miss about my mom. She cared about us. And she would have done, you know, anything that she could have to make sure we were okay.
We were so close. She was my best friend.
The girls, actually at about 14 years old, started disrespecting their mom. They would never disrespect her in front of me, but Louise would always come to me and say, you know, they cursed at me today, one of them raised their hands at me today, and I know this for a fact because I heard it every day. It reached a point where about 2 months before Louise was killed, she actually asked me, and I never told the girls this, there's a lot of things they don't know, but she was begging me, and she said, I really need to move away. I have to get away from them. She said, I can't deal with it anymore. And I never told the girls that, ever, ever.
I'm watching our Twitter board right now for the viewers at home. Tina M. Cummins says, the dad needs to acknowledge their pain. They are hurt, and they can't move forward until he does. Let's be real here, says, regardless of how the new wife is, some children are just never able to accept a stepmom. Healed Heart says, Dad, did you not hear what these girls just said? They are hurt and feel like you threw them to the curbside. So I mean, that's what viewers at home are saying. Are they reading you right?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm glad that was said, because I would say that's exactly right.
Well, maybe you're not getting bullied. Maybe you're actually just getting the story out. I don't know. That's just what people at home are saying.
I just feel like he won't admit anything. Like, everything we do is a lie, 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 and it's not.
Right before the mother was killed in the car accident, which I was in the car with, but thank heavens not driving, because I'd be blamed for that. But they...
Did we wait, back up a second, 'cause you know
my
what?
former wife, Louise, said, I need a girls' getaway with my daughters. Take the money, take the girls, I'll watch the dogs, I'll watch the kids, don't worry, go. So she went with them. Oh, she's got a look on her face already. She knows what's coming. So, anyway, she said, Christine called me every day as well. They went off to Vegas. Christine called me, she'll probably tell you. Her mom called me every day. Carol is ruining this vacation. It's disgusting. She's on me every minute. Christine calls, I'm coming home early. I can't take this. I can't take Carol. She's ruining the vacation. She's abusing Mom.
Because she was gambling a lot, and I didn't like it. And I kept telling her to stop.
Like it. She didn't like it.
No, because you kept complaining, and you had a problem with it.
I never complained. I never complained.
Yes,
never complained.
You did.
Christine, I don't want to hurt your feelings here, but about 3 or 4 weeks before Louise was killed...
No, you do want to hurt her feelings. Tell the truth.
Sorry you feel like that.
Yeah.
Before she was killed in the accident, I get a call. I was out fishing on the ocean, and I get a call saying, you got to come home. Now, this woman never complained, ever. Louise never did. You got to come home immediately. I'm in extreme pain. I asked Christine to take me to the hospital. She says, you think the world, this is what her mom told me, so I can only say, you think the world evolves around you, and I have a date, I've dated this guy 3 times, I think it could turn into something, and I can't take you to the hospital because I have a date.
That's not what happened.
So I race home in the water, I have police boats chasing me, going through the Intracoastal, got home, took her to the hospital. The woman had to be admitted.
Yeah, he tells some great stories.
Oh, this is the truth? I mean,
oh
you
my
could
God,
check with the hospital?
Truth.
Yeah, right.
So she says...
It's not. Christine would never do that.
Is that not the truth?
It's not the truth.
So
my mom said, I don't feel good. And I'm like, do you want to go to the hospital? She said, no, I don't. And I said, well, what's wrong, Mom? She's like, don't worry about me. I'm going to be fine. Go out on your date and have a good time.
Then why did she call me a second later?
I don't know why she said that.
A second later, I had to race in off the ocean.
That?
So I called Christine from the hospital and said, your mother's admitted to the hospital. You better get home from your date.
I know my
She never told me that, Dad.
So this is what your mom said. Then your mom's a liar?
You got a third party involved here, and it's like the gossip game.
Well, I had to take her to the hospital, and she was home saying she didn't want help.
Okay.
Ma'am, you could say whatever you want. I was so close to Mom.
You were
it
close,
wasn't even funny.
but disrespectful and selfish.
She told me to go.
You girls are very selfish.
I got a question for the three of you. That
you're a sick person.
Maybe the hardest question
you're sick.
Any of the three of you have been asked since you got here. I have a question for you and you and you, Carol. That I promise will be the hardest question to answer, but I am going to get an answer from the three of you after the break.
After my mom passed away, my dad got approximately like $2 million. We each received $30,000, and my dad kept the rest of the money.
I had this special umbrella policy, which paid off approximately $200,000. I don't know where they would think I'd get millions from.
When he got all this money, he bought a BMW. He redecorates the house. He knows that I was struggling with my daughter as a single mom, and it just didn't even faze him.
They went to a lawyer and tried to get more, and their attitude was they should have half of my net worth because they felt Mom would want it this way. I live on Social Security and my pension from the police department. I mean, I don't work. I don't have any other income. I don't know what they expect out of me. I really don't.
Well, that was Christine and Carol. They say their father came into a lot of money after their mother passed. They say that he spent all of that money on his new wife, Veronica, instead of helping his own daughters. Let's talk about that first quickly. Was there a will?
No.
So if there wasn't a will, then I'm no lawyer, but that means that it all goes to you. And then you do what you think is best, right?
Yeah, and the only thing I owned was a house. I had no money.
With
not cash
$800 and
money.
something thousand worth of equity in the home. Then I
Not
worked
true.
with him. Okay.
But it's his home,
It
right?
is, it is. You know what? And Dr. Phil, thank God I didn't need $1 from him. But the point is, let's be truthful here.
Yeah, let's.
You got an umbrella policy. How much did it settle for? Not $200,000. I was in your store every day. Don't forget that.
$200,000.
Do you have the paperwork?
Yeah, I have the paperwork.
Can I see it?
$200,000. Absolutely.
Can I see it?
I don't have it with me.
It was 800 and something thousand.
You
You had
lost-
$1 million umbrella policy.
You lost your mind.
Do you think he owes you that money?
No, he doesn't owe me anything. He doesn't owe me a thing. And thank God I never needed it.
But Carol, you said you were a single mother and you were struggling to make it, but he hooks up with Veronica, who's a single mother, struggling to make it, and then all of a sudden he takes care of her and all of her needs, but not you. He'll help this
that
single
hurts.
mother, but not his daughter.
I'm not gonna lie. That hurts.
I want you to tell the truth.
Okay, well, here's
if I had all these
here's
millions,
here's my question.
All that money.
Here's the
I
question
think
I
he
have
did.
for each
I
one of
don't.
you. Here's
I
the
don't know that he
question.
did.
Here's the question I have for each one of you. What could you or can you do better to heal this family? As a father, as the leader of this family, what could you have done, what can you do to make this situation better?
I don't know. I really don't know. I've tried.
These girls
Yes.
are obviously hurt. They're wounded. They feel like they lost their mother and then their father. Okay, that's what I get. And I'm not saying that they're good at expressing it well, and I think they can get up on their hind legs and go to barking and name calling and all of that sort of thing. But people do things out of anger. But if you take away the anger, you peel the anger off of her face, and what you see behind it is hurt and fear and frustration. You peel the anger off of Carol's face, what you see is hurt, fear, frustration. You're responding to the anger and ignoring the hurt. You're ignoring the frustration. You're ignoring the need. But for you as a father to come on the show and say, well, let me just check the list off here and tell you how they can go from zero to bitch in 2 seconds, then you should take no pride in that.
I'm not.
Well, no,
And I
you are.
don't.
Oh, you're saying it with great aplomb. Oh, you're saying it with great aplomb.
I don't know what to do with
Okay,
this.
this woman, Christine, is hurting. Obviously, she's hurting. She is blocked. She's stuck in the grief process. She lost her mother, then she lost her father. And you're responding to the anger. You're supposed to be the hero in this situation. You're supposed to be the calm in the middle of the storm. You're supposed to be the one that pushes aside the anger and heals the hurt. That's all I'm saying. And in the entire time you've been here, you haven't asked me one time, Dr. Phil, what can I do better to bring peace to this family? Just think about that, okay? Hold that thought.
Okay.
Think about it. Carol, what can you do to improve this situation?
I could definitely communicate better, get to know Veronica a little better before I jump to conclusions.
I think that would be a really good
I'll-
start because I have learned a fair amount about Veronica since I've known her. And I think she is not probably, is the calmest, most mature, and gentle spirit in this entire situation. She refuses to speak ill of either of you two girls or of your daughter. She supports him 100% in having a healthy relationship with the two of you, despite the fact that you have called her everything but decent.
I just want to say, I'm sorry for like misjudging you or whatever.
I'm sorry too. It's okay. I understand.
I was angry and I misjudged.
Well, tell her. She's
And
right
I'm
there.
very sorry.
That means a lot to me, really. I appreciate that.
And I haven't been perfect. I've been less than perfect, and I was angry and let my anger get the best of me. And I won't do that. I don't want to do that. But it can't be his way or the highway. You know, it has to be all of our way. Like, it can't only be his way. We have to have all of our feelings into consideration moving forward.
Well, I'm gonna talk about that. But first, let's take a break. Coming up, Alan says Carol has programmed her 16-year-old daughter to be just as mean as she has been. Well, we're going to talk to this lovely granddaughter when we come back.
If I were to blame anyone for how things are in my family now, it would be my grandfather. The way I feel about my grandfather at this moment is disgusted. His focus is 100% not geared towards his family at all. It's definitely geared towards Veronica. And that's not the way it should be. My grandfather is a control freak, and Veronica is kind of a drone, so he says jump, she says how high. I do not want a relationship with Veronica. In the beginning, I was really angry, and now there's a lot of disappointment. I would just hope for my grandfather to be more involved in all of our lives instead of being so distant and not really giving a damn about any of us. Personally, I do not think it will ever get back to being a cohesive, happy family ever again, but you never know.
Well, Kayla, thanks for being here.
Good to be here.
What do you need from your grandfather that you're not getting?
An apology.
For?
A lot of things, you know, not being there for 11 years since my grandmother's passing, you know. Since she's died, he has turned into a different person. I grew up with him and my grandmother. I lived in their house, you know. I pretty much looked at him as a father figure to me. Mm-hmm. And when she passed, you know, that all changed and he was gone.
Mm-hmm. And do you miss him?
I miss the old him.
Do you miss spending time with Kayla?
Well, absolutely. I live in a different state. But I've never, when she makes it sound like I just picked up and left. I took her every week that I possibly could, and sometimes more than that. She stayed at my house with Veronica weekends, many, many weekends, while I still lived in Florida. So it's not that I just picked up and left. That's not true. But I did move to another state, and that was for financial reasons.
She says, I've lost you. I lost her and I lost him at the same time. And your response was to go through a tick list inventory to show how you're right and she's wrong.
I'm not trying to be right. She made it sound like he's gone.
Does it matter? Does it matter?
That's not true.
Does it matter?
It sure does.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because what do you do after that?
What you do after that is you respond to what's behind the statement. Perception is reality. If her perception is, poof, you've gone and she's abandoned, then through that filter, she will look at everything and it will look negative. She will overstate. She will over-exaggerate. She will, there's no question about that. Do you think I don't get that? This isn't my first rodeo, so I was trying to skip.
And it's not my first rodeo with them. This is 10 years.
Yeah, I was trying to skip some of the elements here, and so it is getting old. Yeah. It's getting old for them. It's getting old for you. So when everything is old, then why not try something new?
Again, that's why I'm here.
Well, you're in the right place. When we come back, I'm going to be very, very specific about what I think this family needs to do. I'm going to put verbs in my sentences. It's going to be very action-oriented. And I'm hoping there's going to be a better holiday season ahead. We'll be right back.
I honestly need an apology from my daughters before I think we can move forward. Not so much for me, but for them to understand that there is a certain amount of a consequence for your behavior. And the least you could do is say you're sorry for it.
I've apologized a million times. It hasn't done me any good.
I don't think my father's ever apologized to us.
Because it's our fault in his eyes.
You know, one of our viewers, Shelley Hale, says it really well. She says, Dr. Phil, they all need to tear up the list they have kept of injustices and start fresh. The truth is, based on results, not what you did, but the way in which you did it, resulted in pain on the part of some of your family members. Would you agree with that?
Obviously.
And your daughters are hurting. They're expressing it in terms of anger, but they're both stuck in this grief process. They've never completed this grief process because they got too much into their anger. And you have been misunderstood, you have been unfairly attacked, and you have been rightly criticized for some things. You haven't been perfect. You've done some things that were okay and some things that weren't, right?
Absolutely.
And what you should apologize for is the result. You never want to inflict pain on your children, do you?
Absolutely not.
But you have. Correct?
I guess. I mean, it's obvious.
Okay, all right, but if it's obvious, then why are you guessing? You're guessing because you're saying, I didn't mean to hurt anybody. I don't think I did anything that is wrong. My point to you is you said, perhaps I was insensitive. Now, either that was a bunch of lip service or you really believe that you were insensitive at times.
Yes, I believe it. I don't say things I don't mean.
Okay, then I think you should be motivated to apologize to these women in your family, and not by putting an if or giving a half-assed apology, but by saying, I clearly have made choices that have resulted in pain on your part, and for that, I apologize.
I'm honestly, no, I can't be. I can't be. I cannot be for what they've done. I want you to understand, Dr. Phil, in a minute. I'm not angry. I have no anger towards them.
I'm going to get to them in a minute.
We're leaving out a lot.
Well, I'm
Four times.
Thank you, I am too.
4 times
Carol,
I
I'm
have
sorry.
tried to make peace with these girls, bring them. I says it's premature. They are so full of anger since they're young. This is before their mom. They scare me.
That was
They literally scare me.
Dad, you're a beast when you want to be too. Cut it out,
Okay,
really.
that was-
the
come
apple
on.
doesn't fall far from
Come
the
on.
tree, okay?
That
Let's
was
be
then.
real.
That was then, this is now. Your wife, while you're arguing with me about that, is apologizing. Yeah. She is apologizing to everybody here. She's already done it. She's moved past. You're in the rearview mirror. And you're saying what you're thinking. Let me tell you what you're thinking. Let me read your mind.
Go ahead.
Let me read your mind. I'm reading your mind, and you're saying, there's a lot you don't know. You don't know how many times I have tried. No. Let me tell you, we've mended over this. We mended during the pregnancy. We mended during this. We mended during that. Then it blows up over money. Where is this $2 million? Where is this? Where is that? It always seems to fall apart, so why stick my hand in the blender one more time? Dr. Phil, no thank you.
No, I want to go in the blender, but I refuse to say that I'm going to apologize for something I feel I'm not responsible for.
What you're being is a right fighter, and that makes for a very lonely old man.
And that's the way I wind up.
Maybe. Christine, you need to be willing to apologize for the things you've done in this situation that have contributed to the chaos.
Okay.
And the disrespect that you have given to his wife.
I totally do apologize. I have no problem apologizing.
Are you sorry? Do you apologize for that?
I do apologize
Carol,
for what I've done.
you listened to everything
yes.
I just said to your twin sister. I know twins get tired of sharing things, but share that explanation. Can you acknowledge the things that you have done to contribute to chaos? Can you forgive him and yourself and apologize for this?
Absolutely. I take full responsibility for the wrongdoings I've done, and I sincerely apologize to both of you.
And when you get home and watch this back, you're going to feel like a real ass.
Yeah. You know something? I doubt it. I've never felt like one before. So I doubt it.
I want to thank all of my guests today. Thanks for being here. So long. Come on, man. Taylor, good to meet you. Thanks, guys.